morning. Thank you for watching Live with OCC. Today, we are going to talk about voting, which everybody should be on your mind. And I have my special guest and my co-host, Dr. Sharon Middlebrooks of the NAACP. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Great, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And thank you for coming out and just kind of schooling us again like you did a couple of weeks ago, because I don't think people understand the importance of this vote.
Well, that would be a sad commentary if people did not understand what is actually on the line as it relates to this election. This is going to be a very pivotal election for all people, and we cannot afford to go to sleep because, as I stated earlier, this will be one of the most crucial elections of our lifetime. We as a people thought when President Obama ran that we would never see that opportunity, at least from a black perspective or African American perspective. We never would have thought we would see a black president, but to have it happen in our lifetime, we came out in droves to vote for President Barack Obama.
And now, here we are.
At the same juncture.
With the black lady.
This is true.
Even for her to be VP, we never thought we'd have a woman to even be in the White House.
That is correct.
So now, we are here.
So what do we do now? We cannot afford to sit back and not do anything. We cannot afford to say, oh, Miss Jeanette is going to vote, I don't have to go. This is going to require every person, especially people of color, to go out and vote. This election is truly about democracy being on the ballot. Democracy is under attack, be it by the left wing. We're under attack all over again. The civil rights movement of the 1950s that catapulted us over into the 1960s for the Civil Rights Acts and Bill as we know it, that is all under fire. 40 years and no more votes. We can't speak on, as you all know, the NAACP, we do not endorse candidates. But what we do endorse is alignment and alignment with policy and procedures. We're all familiar with that quote-unquote word systemic. Systemic. It comes in different forms, in different fashions. We see it every day as it relates to mortgages, where people of color find it and have a harder time receiving mortgage loans than our counterparts. Here we are now, we're under attack about the vote. Everything that the Dr. Martin Luther King, Thurgood Marshall, let's say Malcolm X, and Fannie Lou Hamer, I have to put that lady off in there, Fannie Lou Hamer for the 1960s, as to how they fought so that we could have a freedom and a right to vote. That now is under scrutiny. That now is a part of the systemic whole to keep us as a people back. We've made progress. You know, somewhere in a good book it says, he that is last shall be first, and he that is first shall be last. That's a word. The Bible is the oldest book there is, but yet it has today's information.
We live in the Bible.
We're living in our times. So we cannot put enough emphasis on going to vote, Ms. Jeanette. Everyone has to go and vote. You have an obligation to go and vote. If not for you, do it for your children and or your grandchildren, because it goes just that deep. When we talk about Project 25, there's a part in there that deals with the climate. There's a part that deals with justice. And he's our president right now, President Biden. And I like it to the degree that he is now seeing the need, and we as Americans should see the need to overhaul and change the way SCOTUS, or the Supreme Court of Justices, are elected to serve in a lifetime. What other job can you go and serve a lifetime?
None. None that I know of.
I like term limitations. Things as they rotate with presidents, then also SCOTUS can rotate. You know, there is a saying, Ms. Janetti says, power is not given, power is taken. Project 2025. Project 2025. Power is taken. You have the power. Now will you use it? You use it by going and exercising your right to vote.
Yeah, they see you were on a lot of people don't even understand Project 25.
Well,
They hear it, but do they really understand it? And then the last time you were here, you were saying that they changed the voting within every, 20, 25 years? Can you
it comes up on the agenda. Should we keep the Voters Act on the books? Should we allow more or less African Americans, blacks, to be able to vote? That becomes a question. Why should that be a question?
Well,
We're American citizens. Why should we not have the right to vote? We built America. Columbus didn't discover America, but that's what they would have us think.
Right.
And woe unto us if we do not seek out that we do not know about. That's what CRT is all about. Critical race theory. What words can we use? How should we teach this? Teachers are walking out of districts because they are being told what and how they can teach.
and that was a couple of years ago. I think they were talking about that. I mean,
Exactly.
it started a couple of years ago.
Exactly. So it's all about how do you dilute something. Yeah, that's a good word. Because the stronger you are, it causes challenges for other people. Because we are not the people that you can just put in a box and walk away. Pyramids. Do you ever think about that? Who built the pyramids? What did they have? How did they have that intel, the insight to be able to build pyramids?
Sometimes they build it from the to the photo, and whoever starts it, that's the winner.
Well, I look at the Egyptians, and we see how that pyramid works. But more importantly, it's the people that were involved. They made something out of nothing.
See, back then.
But we're doing that today. We're making something out of nothing. And because we're being successful at making something out of nothing, come on now. Mama and them, as they say, Mama and them used to make flapjack. Do you all know what a flapjack is?
It's pancakes now.
Pancakes. You know, they take a little of nothing and made a meal.
Yep.
And this is what we have to get back to doing as a people. We have to go back and reconstruct and build up. And we have to do that through even reunions. It's imperative that we pass our knowledge down to the next generation.
It is.
We no longer do that. A reunion, a family reunion, it's not about just coming together for good food and drinks, what have you. It should be coming together to transfer information. He that knows not the past is bound to repeat it. Family reunions. So as we talk about Project 2025, millions of American families, as they know life today, will be interrupted. Now let's make one thing for sure. 2025 will happen in one degree or another. So, in current election, the Republicans led nominee, past president, I'll just call him who he is, past president, is saying that he would only be a dictator for a day, but one day. What happens the other 364 days? The thought that you have to put that in the atmosphere that you would do it for one day.
It's scary to me.
Not only should it be scary, that's a time for your ears to perk up. What will happen the other 364 days? It was also stated, and I'm not making this up, nor am I endorsing anyone. I want to say this again, but I will say I'm only speaking on facts that have already occurred. So we heard past presidents say, one day I would be a dictator. We've also heard the same past president say, I don't want to just say what's being said, but I do want to kind of deal with that. And I'm walking on soft eggshells here. I want to be diplomatic, but I also want to be very candid about what is going on with Project 2025 and the systemic issues that it involves. From the standpoint, if a person tells you, I'm only going to dictate one day, what will they do with the other 364 days? If that same person comes back and make the statement, I'm calling all Christians, come out and vote. I need all Christians to just come out and vote. And when you come out and vote, you won't have to do it anymore. Just come out and vote. You won't have to do it anymore. For 4 years, I take care of it. But I'm only going to be a dictator for one day. I think we as Americans are a lot smarter than that. I don't think that we will sit home and take it lightly and think that we're going to be bullwinkled. Everyone has to go into this with his eyes open. Many programs that we know are being dismantled by Project 2025. Already. Affirmative action, already.
Yes.
Think of this, just to see the inroad as to who should have extended health care and or health care period. Dismantling the programs for communities across the nation from attacking overtime pay. Now, here we are, we don't feel like we're getting paid enough anyway. And now they want to cut what you already have. Student loans. It's sad enough that HBCUs have already been cut.
Yes.
HBCUs.
Everything. And I see it. I mean, we're getting calls. People, the utility bill. They're asking for help with utility and food. Who would have thought? Food is something that the harvest, but it's in fact, I mean, we all are getting ready to be affected by it.
Well, it's going to impact all of us. Yes. But we have an opportunity to get ahead of the curve. We see what's coming. They've already exposed their hands. So the best defense is a good offense. And what's our offense? It's take it to the polls, November the 5th. Take it to the polls, early election. And you can't just go by yourself. You have to take someone with you. Take mama them. Take them to the polls with you. But from attacking overtime pay, student loans, and allowing more discrimination, pollution, and price gouging, have you gone to the gas pumps at any point to purchase gas in one part of town is higher than it is in another part of town? But yet they tell us when you call to ask about it, you make the inquiries, it's because the trucks have to come further to you. Excuse me? Houston is south of me, okay? So that means you get to Oak Cliff, South Dallas, before you ever get to North Dallas, Richardson, Frisco, but yet we pay more. They are prepared. When I say they, it's the foundation. This is a foundation that has put together Project 2025. They've received like tens of millions of dollars just for this project. This is outside of an election. This has nothing to do with the campaign. This is a group of people that have come together that say this should be the platform. This should be how America is run. Supremacy. And unfortunately, many of us, because we don't know our history, again, we're bound to repeat it.
That is it.
We have an obligation to our children and our children's children.
And that's Bible.
It is Bible. It is biblical. So I would just say on Project 25, the main thing is to stay aware. It's going to happen. It's just to what degree. That goes back to who is in office. It is imperative that we elect the right people for office. Yes, this is a federal election. This is the national election for a president. But the good book also says charity begins at home. Having said that, we have to look at our city councils. We have to look at our senatorial elections. We have to look at our congressional people. We have to look at state representatives because it happens at home. And then once we elect them, it's imperative that we hold them accountable. If they do not do what they said they were going to do on their platform, we have to call them out for that. We cannot afford to say, oh, they're in office now. Well, I can't change them. I can't this. Yes, you can. The strength is in the numbers.
Yes.
And that's why Project 2025 is important right now. Because of the numbers. The minorities are now the majority. When you put blacks and browns together, we represent a greater number in population than our counterparts. That's scary for some people.
It is.
And all we really want to do is exist. We just want the opportunity to exist. We just want equity and equality. There is a difference.
People vote.
So who can vote? Anyone that's 18 years of age.
And you're a felon, you cannot, right?
Not if you're still on paper. If you're on paper, no. But if you have served your probation time and you're no longer on paper, then yes, you are eligible to vote. That's another interesting thing. Now just think about this. I don't know if you guys will recall the Crystal Mason story. The young black lady that served her time, got out, thought she could go and vote. She voted. And the good people of this state, great state of Texas, had her apprehended and put right back in prison because she voted. Okay. We also know people or a person that received 34 counts of felonies. Not only is that person going on the ballot as a candidate, but can you vote for yourself? That is the question. I don't know how they can even be on a ballot.
I don't understand that one.
But these are the means and the ways. This is systemic. This is a way of oppressing the people. Oppression. They do that every time, even with driver's license. Now you have to show your ID or a driver's license, some form of ID to say who you are, to prove who you are, just so you can vote.
Yeah.
But look at what's actually going on in and around you. We all know that during an administration, things that happen, the inflation, it didn't start with this administration. It was already in play. And the people that come in have to do the cleanup from what went out.
Yeah.
Have you ever noted that when the city passed a bond, and then we see the signs out that say, city council person, certain city council people, they're no longer in office. But they were around when that bond was passed. And they received that credit. Well, we can't just receive the credit for the good. You have to take the bad with it, right? And this is what we're going through this administration now. They're having to take on the good and the bad, no matter how much good they've done. So, back to who can vote. 18 years of age, a resident of the country. You are 18 years old, you can register to vote. If you have not already registered, please make sure that you have registered to vote no later than October 1. October 1 is the last date that a person can register to vote. So to all of my high school students out there that are getting ready to return to school, if you are turning 18 between today's date that you're seeing this video and October 1, please, I implore you to register to vote and have your voice too heard. If you are 17 years and in 10 months, well, we won't talk about the 10 months because we're too close to the October now. But if you have completed your sentence after having been convicted of a felony, including any term of incarceration, parole, supervision, or probation, you too are eligible to vote once you have completed. And the easiest way to say it and understand it is if you're not on paper. If you're not on paper, you're 18 years or older, you can vote. So we need everyone with their hands on deck. This is really serious business.
Now, with this, will they have an early voting?
Yes, there will be an early voting in Dallas County. But while we're talking about that, if a person needs assistance, either to go to the polls, they can call the Dallas NAACP, which we are working with we're having collaboration with different organizations, and we will be providing rides to the polls, transportation to the polls. And so you could just call the Dallas NAACP at 469-349-9525. That's 469-349-9525, and request a ride to the poll. Even if you're needing assistance to request your ballot, early voting.
To be picked up and dropped off?
Yes, to be picked up, dropped off. So the last day to register to vote, I made an error, that's October the 7th instead of October the 1st. So the last day that one can register to vote and be eligible to vote in the November 5th election is going to be October the 7th. And the first day for early voting is October 21st. So it's October 21st to November 1. And then the last day that you could apply for a mail ballot is October 25th. October 25th. And the last day that they can receive the early voting by ballot is going to be, or a ballot by mail, is November the 5th. And we all know that November the 5th is D-Day, D-Day. It's the voting day that everyone will be voting. So we would encourage you to vote early, just in anticipation, not that it will happen, but what if? Anything can happen. So we would encourage anyone that is eligible to vote to please exercise your vote during the early period of October 21st through November 1st. Get out and vote your conscience. And if you have any questions, you can always, like I say, you can contact the Dallas NAACP at 469-349-9525, or you may visit us on Facebook at the Dallas NAACP. We place up-to-date information there relative to the voting process, so they could visit there, as well as to our website. But once again, that's the Dallas NAACP. Since 1907, 1909, we've been around fighting for the rights of people. And all of that is under attack as we speak now. Civil rights, as we know it, is under attack. So democracy is under attack. So if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, as my good friend Commissioner Price would say. So go out and vote. And if you have any questions, please contact community people such as, or organizations such as the Dallas NAACP. And no matter what city you live in, there is a local NAACP office, and I'm sure that they're willing to assist and help, as we are here with the Dallas NAACP and the OCC living.
We're here.
And doing a great job in the community, servicing the people of the community. And that's when we should really be taking our hat off, is to Miss Jeanette Berry for all that she and her organization do for the community and in the community. Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you for coming out to explain, because again, this is important. It's always been important, but this is really important.
Yeah, we have an opportunity to save democracy, if you will. And the only way we can save it is through voting.
Yes.
There will be no excuses that can be had or said. We cannot afford to have empathy at this election, at this juncture. What we need is action. We need all hands on deck. And by that I mean, if you're a registered voter, encourage someone else to become a registered voter. And you guys hold each other accountable. I'm going to vote. Well, let's go together. Let's make sure that we turn out this vote on November the 5th. Better yet, October the 21st through November 1. Early vote. Make sure every eligible person within your household is a registered voter. It's important. It's important. Our life, our livelihood is riding on this election. So will you go out and vote your conscience, knowing that Project 2025 will be. Only way we can counteract that is we have the right people in the right offices. You have to vote. Get involved. Get involved now. Today, not later. The time is now. It's an urgency. The time is now.
Yes, it is.
Churches. Yes, preachers, your 501c3s, I get that. But the good book says, give that unto Caesar, which is Caesar, and unto the Lord, which is the Lord. Talk about it. Encourage your congregations to get up, get involved, and go vote. You're not telling them who to vote for, but we need to hear from the pulpit. We need to hear from the mountain to the valley that we have got to get out and go vote. Our lives, it depends depends on it. It depends on it. That just to know about the systemic, it's more than a notion.
Yes, yes.
And we're taking it for granted.
Okay, vote. And if all the information will be at the end of this podcast, and we'll see you at the poll. Thank you for watching, and this is episode 25, season 1. We are closing out, and we'll see you in a few weeks for season 2. Thank you.
May I say one other thing too? Shout out to Cedric Walker and Universal Soul Circus. They're in town, and he did something different this year, the circus did, wherein they brought in Dallas County Elections Department. They had other organizations, including the NAACP. They were out there registering voters. I say that because, number one, hats off to Cedric Walker and the Universal Soul. But more importantly, I'm saying follow that lead. If you're having any type of event or function throughout the city, have people there that can register people to vote. Let's don't take for granted that everyone is registered.
Right.
Ask everyone in your household. Each one reach one. So once again, there's room for all to be involved. I just wanted to say that about Cedric Walker and the Universal Soul.
You were there last night?
Yeah. I was there last night. We were registering voters, asking questions, answering questions. In fact, Dallas County took it one step further. Kudos to Dallas County, to Esmeralda Garcia and crew, Miss Daphne Fain. They were there with the voting machines. They had mock voting. And so if one didn't know how to vote, it was right there to learn firsthand before going to the polls. You know how we did when we were going to get our driver's license? We had to jump in the car quick and go take it for a quick spin to make sure when we get there, we would have all the maneuvers down, the proper maneuvers. Well, that's what we have to do now. The time is now. Churches, organizations, fraternities, sororities, call out my brothers and sisters of the PHA, better known as Prince Hall affiliation. Yeah, come on, stars. Come on in the house, Masons. Come on in the house, 5 Points. I'm speaking to you. We need everyone on deck in this election to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. You heard it here, live with OCC. Again, we'll see you at the polls. Thank you.